up, but there we go. Alrighty, well, as Gentle is in the chat, he's going to be pretty happy about this one as we go into El Dorado for the very, very first game. And this version of El Dorado is the one that does not have the extra gold and stone around the TC. So I hope the players did their research into the maps and looked into that before it started, because this is not the version that is played in WSVG. There was a small pause, and hopefully everything is all right. But we're going into game one now between BacT and TaToH for the Empire Collective Cup. The very first set of games, the very first game of the tournament. And I am so excited for this. It's going to be awesome. And as I said, right at the start, right before this game was due to start, I expected a Mongol pick here, and that is exactly the civ that we are seeing BacT taking on the the east of the map in the orange. He's playing as the Mongols down here. Over to the west of the map, on the grey, we've got TaToH choosing the Britons, which is an interesting choice, actually. And we can talk about that a little more in just a moment. But this is played in the TEC Light pack, and the players were banned from choosing the Huns. They were banned from choosing the Mayans, the Aztecs, and also the Vikings. So I think the first game in these sets should be pretty interesting, since the players really have to think about what civ might be better for all of these maps in the pool. They are still pausing though, so I don't know what's going on. I think there's, okay, maybe a little lag, I'm not sure, but hopefully everything's going to be smooth and all good in the hood. So, El Dorado, it's a good map. It's a very good map. It's one of the most original maps I think I've ever seen in AOC, to be honest with you. It is so different to the standard kind of maps that we see. Very innovative, and one that makes a lot of people question their sanity as they see a TC starting on shallows, as they see big fish sitting under the town center, as well as 2 boar and a bunch of sheep. Questions their sanity as they see the center of the map, which is all visible at all times to every player and contains all of the gold and stone on the map. So this map should be pretty interesting, and BacT choosing the Mongols, I think is an interesting choice, because obviously, as we know, the Mongols have a great hunt bonus, and they're going to be able to gobble up those wild boar very quickly underneath the TC there. Not only that, but villagers gather extremely quickly from fish like this. They gather really quickly from shore fish. They gather equally quickly from deep sea fish. And if I have a quick look here, there's 3 fish underneath the TC for BacT, and I'm not sure if that's actually bugged or if TaToH's already finished up one of his fish here, which is unlikely, I think. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And since we're already up 5 minutes and I can't contact the players, I think it is going to be all right. But yeah, it's a little odd. He has 3, and I'll have to ask Gentle in the chat if he's still there, if that's actually acceptable. This map also has, of course, water around the edge with big fish in the corners, and both these guys are going to be docking over there as well. The center of the map is, like I said, generally, because there is a lot of gold and stone in here, generally players will attempt to tower it up and take control of this very quickly. And that's why I think having the Mongols is actually a good choice, because they are going to be able to get to the feudal age faster than pretty much any civ in most situations. And in being able to do that, they can try and push out and gain the center much quicker. Yeah, it might be 2 fish stacked on top of each other here. In fact, it is. Yeah. So my bad. I just don't have the eyes. Don't have the eyes for this. TaToH does actually have 3 fish under his TC, so my mistake. BacT and TaToH though, both clicking up to the feudal age now at very similar times. And of course, if there's another civ that can get a fast feudal time if they want, it's also the Britons, due to, of course, their very fast sheep gathering. So whilst BacT has very quick boar intake, TaToH has very fast food intake off the sheep. So TaToH now up to the feudal age, as well as BacT for pretty much identical times, and TaToH heading out with, 6 villagers heading towards the center of the map, and you gotta take the center of the map seriously, yo. The problem is, because everybody can see the center of the map, you're gonna have a real big heads up when your opponent is attempting to take it, and TaToH now got his scout in here as well. Villagers moving over, and as soon as he hits the feudal age, we're probably expecting to see a tower coming up. Now, having a look at the stone situation, obviously neither of them have stone at their TCs, which is changed in the later version of this map, but I like this version of the map, which is why we're using it. And TaToH immediately going to go take the stone in the middle here, and going to be seen by BacT before his scout even gets over there. So obviously a lot of stone miners. TaToH definitely showing his hand to BacT now. He's saying to BacT, look, I'm taking the stone because I'm going to get some towers up here and I'm going to hold the center of the map down. Now, it's not always end game if you can't get the center of the map. And although getting the center of the map is really important in this game, there have been situations in the past, between Juan and 8th Wonder, where we've seen players, or Juan in this particular case, able to win the game even without a single shred of center control. TaToH with 2 towers, and when you take stone to make towers, you have to bear in mind you got 6 villagers here taking stone. That's 6 villagers that BacT could have on food, on wood, on gold even. Well, maybe not on gold because there's no gold here, but on those resources. So he's going to have more food, he's going to have more wood, and as a result, he's going ahead now and doing a scout cavalry and a spear as well. Getting a little bit housed though, which is not a good sign for BacT, not a good sign at all. Every second that you spend housed is seconds wasted. But he's going out with a counter-attack. He's coming in with his villagers in the center here, though I don't think he's going to be able to get too close with that tower going up. But these scouts are heading straight out across the map and looking for some villagers in TaToH's wood line, maybe in TaToH's food economy. Now, at the moment, TaToH's villagers still under the TC taking food, but the wood villagers are exposed, and BacT is going to come in, and he is going to basically hit and run and try and keep these villagers idle as much as possible and make them lose as much potential resource as possible as well. So TaToH, you've got to bear in mind this. TaToH at the moment, no walls at all. He's really investing in taking the center control. And you've got to also remember that because this TC is on shallows, you can't put farms around your town center. And the very fact that you can't put farms around your TC means that your economy back at home is oftentimes very, very exposed, very open, out in the open, and makes it very, very difficult to defend it. Obviously, TaToH in this situation, throwing up a barracks, going to get out a spearman here, and BacT is going to have to micro some 2k2 level here, 2k4 level, if he wants to get out of there without losing any scouts, facing a spearman at this stage without any upgrades, no bloodlines or anything like that. Now, TaToH in the center of the map, he's still holding it down, he's still taking quite a lot of stone. BacT, meanwhile, building that tower there, maybe to try and push this back a bit, maybe get some leverage over the center. Now, TaToH actually hasn't walled this tower up, so BacT could take a risk. He could come in here with his scouts and attack it and take it down. I think he might try and do that. TaToH's taken the precaution on the tower on the right side. He's walled around it, and that not only is going to block BacT getting in, but stop him from actually hitting the tower. BacT isn't going to go in. He's not going to go. He's not going to go YOLO mode. He is instead going to try and hit TaToH's economy back at home, and it looks like he might just find a villager as well. The very first kill of the game. And he's going to get at and get out because he doesn't want to lose any more scouts. But hey, he's going to find TaToH's scout as well as he ducks and dives away from that spearman there. And TaToH tries to wall up and put a tower on this wood line. So pretty messy stuff indeed. TaToH now gonna probably take this tower down, but he has got idle villagers, bear that in mind. Idles inside this tower right here, doing absolutely nothing, and in comes BacT. He's gonna try and take this tower as fast as he can. These walls underneath the tower here, a sign that TaToH was trying to wall it up, but he's not gonna succeed. The scouts are gonna get a good kind of amount of control in the middle. They're gonna come for the tower. The tower will probably go down as the villagers and scouts team up on it, and BacT is not in a good. TaToH is not in a particularly strong location at the moment. Just look at the scores for one. But in come the spears, and this will push BacT away. And bear in mind right now that BacT would really like to have bloodlines, but he has to get some gold from somewhere in this kind of situation. Maybe if he goes and gets up a blacksmith in a minute, he might try and do +1 defense or something along those lines. Maybe help him to raid stronger or better. Maybe he'll do +1 attack. Who knows? But it would be worthwhile trying to get one of those upgrades on the scouts here, seeming as he has so many of them. Killing another villager though, and BacT right now is ahead by 2 vills, but he's certainly had, well, in my opinion, less idle time. There's only one way to find out though, and we can find out by clicking this button here, and he's had about half the idle time of TaToH so far. So obviously that says to us that BacT right now is doing pretty well with his economy. Now TaToH on the water, a single galley out, and he's not got too much fishing on his side of the map. It's mostly shore fish. There's not many big fish out there. But TaToH with this single galley could be very annoying. BacT has a lot of farms on this back side of the map here, and as a result, if TaToH keeps making galleys, surely he will pull an advantage here. He might even find a villager or two. And the reason for that is because BacT has no counter to it. He has made a single galley, but that's all he can do right now unless he gets some gold from somewhere. And at the moment, there's another tower up from TaToH in the center of the map. He's got no gold income still, and although he's going to get chased away here by BacT, this is the only galley that BacT can make until he gets some gold from somewhere. So he's doing pure trash, skirmishes, scouts still. I don't know if he's still making scouts, actually. Well, he is, so there you go. He is committed to the feudal age. He is really committed. But now we see a market, of course, and this is where things get a little bit dicey for BacT. If he has to sell too many resources, then obviously it's not ideal. Can we have team colors? I don't think team colors necessary, really. I usually use team colors if the players are really, like, you know, if it's a multiplayer game, you know, like more than a 1v1, and it's really difficult to see. But I think the minimap's easy enough to see in this situation. But yeah, obviously the market coming up from BacT here, and once he's got the market, things get a little bit risky. He just sold some resources. What did he sell? Spectator dashboard will let us know. He sold 100 wood, so that's a little bit of gold there, and he's now spent that gold on something, I presume. And maybe another, nope, I was thinking maybe another boat, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. He's doing wheelbarrow now, and he's going to have a really strong eco actually back here. TaToH seemingly without really any food income. He's got a few fishing ships at the back, and he's got a couple of villagers taking shorefish, but no large amount of food income for TaToH at the moment. And even though he's got really very few villagers taking food, he still has 300 food in the bank, so he is okay for now. In here though, BacT is sticking up another tower. Maybe he'll find another villager kill as well. Looks like he will, as TaToH takes it down. BacT not in the strongest position to take the center back just yet. And the problem is, the longer this game goes on, the longer that TaToH has the center control, the more difficult it's going to be for BacT to take it back, because more and more towers will go up over time, and it's going to get more and more difficult to pull it back. Certainly a messy first game, and BacT here pushing in with his skirms. Of course, the ideal counter to spears at this stage of the game. Not only do they obviously get an attack bonus, but they're certainly going to be a lot better against spearmen than scout cavalry. And of course, they still cost no gold, so he's fine in that situation. And BacT right now, still with a pretty solid score lead, I think. Yeah, a 400 score lead at the moment, even without having the center control. We've got to really keep a close eye, though, on resources sold, because at the moment, BacT, that's what he did. He bought some stone. Okay, that makes sense now. So BacT sold 100 wood, he bought 100 stone. That's how he built that tower there. Still, it wasn't enough to take the center back, unfortunately. Man, you guys in the chat talking about such random stuff. I always look across because I like to try and chat with you guys in the chat as well. But then when I do, I just get so distracted because you're talking about so much random stuff. So at the moment, TaToH then starting to see some farms over on this left side, a lot of towers all over the place just to try and keep his eco nice and safe. But it's not enough to stop him losing villagers. And at the moment, BacT with 16 kills, 11 deaths, BacT with 3 extra villagers. So that resource is going to be coming a little faster, and he's certainly got a lot more food at the moment, allowing him at this stage to build a second stable and start making, perhaps from now on, double stable scouts. On the water, BacT probably going to win this fight. And although TaToH's been a bit of a nuisance back here, Bad Jofro with enough gold after selling that wood once again to actually keep these galleys alive and win this fight. He's even got a villager in here doing some repairs, and that's awesome because, you know, those repairs, pretty cheap really for what it's worth, and he's going to be able to now keep these galleys alive even longer, retrieve that farmland perhaps. On the other side of the map, Bad Jofro is still poking and prodding, looking for more angles of attack, keeping TaToH idle as well, making him run to the towers, making his villagers go idle as often as possible and in as many places as possible. But at the moment, TaToH still yet to really strike back, but he is starting to make a move across the center of the map now as well. So he's moving out, and obviously this is mass archers. He's got +1 attack, he's got +1 defense, so that's fletching and padded archer armor done, and that's pretty much all you're going to get in the well, it is all you're going to get in the feudal age for these archers. They are fully upgraded at the moment. Bad Jofro once again buying some more stone, and it's a slippery slope really. Once you start having to use that market over and over and over and over, it get pretty difficult to get your money's worth out of your resources, so to speak. So BacT right now doing +1 defense on these scouts. Like I said earlier, I expected him to do that since it doesn't cost any gold. It's basically a food-only research, which is obviously what he has plenty of, given the sheer number of farms he's got going over here. Now, Bad Jofro right now going to chase these archers down, and to be honest with you, I think he's in an okay position. If he had bloodlines, it would be an absolute killing over here, but it's probably still going to go the way of Bad Jofro, I assume. But then again, TaToH backing himself into a corner, making himself very hard to surround, making himself very hard to kill, and Bad Jofro just coming in at the right time with these skirms. I guess he should have come in a little earlier in order to do the most amount of damage, but he will come out on top, and that's a pretty costly loss for TaToH there. My god, he's lost so much in that little fight, and sure, Bad Jofro lost a bunch of scouts as well, but Bad Jofro did all of that without the center control, and for TaToH, none of that would have been possible without the center control. So Bad Jofro doing just fine, even without the center at the moment. Thank you very much to the Beast is here, XX, for subscribing. Much appreciated. Thank you for supporting the stream, becoming a warlord as well. At the moment then, TaToH is kind of sitting back a little now. He's pushed out. He's realized that actually that didn't work out too well, and he's sitting back with a few archers, some skirms, and going up to 3 archery ranges. I don't think, though, that TaToH is going to be too far from the castle age, but Bad Jofro closer still. Bad Jofro literally just clicking up right now, and all of that food, all of that farming, all this wood income he's got here, allowing him to, with the help of a market of course, able to get to the castle age in actually a pretty solid time. He's only sold 200 wood and 100 food so far, which is actually impressive, surprising almost, that he's gone castle here without selling more resources than I anticipated. I thought he would have sold a bit more than that. Obviously, he will have to still sell some more. If he wants to take the center back, he will need some siege, and in order to get that siege, he needs gold, whichever way you look at it. So selling more at the market is certainly going to be expected, and Bad Jofro, once he gets to the castle age, will likely throw up a siege workshop at the front and keep making the trash for now as well. So I'm wondering what he's doing on this right side. He's going to get a little close to these towers if he's not careful, and maybe lose a villager. Is he coming in to attack this tower? Okay, well, he's going to go and attack it, but it's not going to end too well, considering he can only get 2 villagers to attack at once, and they're kind of being attacked by the tower right now. If you could take this tower back, though, that would be pretty nice. At the moment, TaToH trying to block the center of the map up and get another tower up in here. Like I said, the longer he has the center, the more towers he puts up here, the harder it is going to be for Bad Jofro to take it back. The longer it's going to take him to regain control of the center of the map. But up goes the tower, and back goes Bad Jofro. He can't realistically attack this one anymore either. But the villagers, he has so much wood, so much food, and Bad Jofro now, as he's into the castle age, he's doing light cavalry, and he'll throw up that siege workshop, I'm sure, any second now. At the market, he's selling more wood, he's selling more food. 200 wood sold, 200 food sold, 300 wood now sold. And Bad Jofro with a pretty hefty army. In fact, I think he's got a much larger army. Whoa, he's not. Wow. So there you go. TaToH actually catching up in army count. I know earlier Bad Jofro did have a big army advantage, but right now TaToH actually has that advantage, and it's all archers, soon to be crossbows, soon to be perhaps elite skirmishers, and it's going to be pretty tough for BacT to fight against. But the siege workshop is here. It's on the right-hand side. And he's waiting now, I guess, for the wood for a ram, the wood maybe for a mangonel. I think, to be honest with you, a mangonel would be much better. If you look at BacT point of view, wow, he's coming in on this left side. Elite skirmishers going in, going ham, killing villagers all over the place. The light cavalry with some serious raiding going on here. That's pretty nuts. And wow, a lot of villagers going down for TaToH there. He's now 6 behind, make that 7, and they keep dying. They keep dying, and this is nice because, well, you would assume that TaToH's going to be worried about this aggression. He might even head back, but he's not. And BacT, since you can see the entire center of the map, you will see these crossbows heading his way. Plenty of warning and plenty of time to perhaps get a mangonel out. And that's why I think a mangonel would be a better choice here. But those light cavalry hitting TaToH's eco as hard and as fast as they possibly can. Obviously taking a bit of a beating from this TC, but the Mongols, bear in mind, with the extra HP on their cavalry, light cavalry, making them a very good unit choice, in fact, a very strong unit to use in this situation. Skirmishers, gonna be okay. Obviously, there's quite a lot of crossbows out. They're also able to tank a little bit of damage from these towers, but would you just look at the center of the map right now? Would you look at that? There's 5 towers right there, protecting the villagers, supposedly. But where are the villagers? They're not actually gathering any resources. TaToH has full center control, but BacT has made a situation where, even though TaToH has all this center control, he's actually not really getting a lot out of it. He's not really gathering that many resources there. It's all idle. Now, finally, he releases the villagers. He releases the hounds. But not long, I guess, before more raiding comes in, and BacT applies yet more pressure to the center of the map, preventing TaToH taking too much gold. And obviously in this situation as well, bear in mind now, if TaToH loses access to gold, it's basically game over because he's invested a lot into archers and crossbow. If he no longer has that and he's forced to make skirms, well, TaToH is going to be up against light cavalry that are very strong, and light cavalry that will absolutely dominate against his skirmishers. Perhaps a bad fight for BacT to take, though. I think BacT needs to go BacT in this situation. He's fighting uphill, and that is nasty, whatever way you look at it. But with a knight out for TaToH now, BacT is going to want to be very careful with those skirms. Doesn't want to let them get too close. But of course he will kill that knight. The unit numbers just coming out on top for BacT. And there's the mangonel. It's taken him a while. It's taken him quite some time. And the gold gained from the market is the only thing allowing him to do that. 300 food now sold, 400 wood now sold, and it's not too bad, to be honest with you. But the sale price of these resources, food is at 57, wood is at 56, and it's only going to go down the more he has to sell, which is kind of sad. But look at this, he's finding more villagers in the back. BacT gonna be killing these villagers. They run back to the TC. Sure, TaToH put the towers up on this left side and in his economy over here, but this right side, yeah, it's completely exposed. There's no towers protecting the villagers, and BacT are going to take this fight. He's got skirms coming in at the back. He's actually got bodkin arrow done, so he's actually on par with TaToH in terms of upgrades on these skirms, and he probably is going to win this fight now as he takes the hill. Oh, well, I was thinking he was going to take the hill at the back, but geez, that was nasty. That was really, really nasty for TaToH here. And goodness me, TaToH not with the best of games at the moment. And you know what? I think BacT now, with his mangonel that is apparently now dead, I didn't see that, but with his siege work, could make him another mangonel. He's going to keep raiding the center of the map. He could try and surround these towers and take them down quickly to bring them to the ground, turn them into rubble, and finally take the center of the map back. But TaToH doesn't want to resign just yet, even though all of the statistics, all of these statistics are in favor of BacT at the moment. There you go, BacT surrounding the towers here. These units, of course, not costing him any gold, so he can just, well, he can't exactly afford to throw them away, but you would not be seeing crossbows going anywhere near this number of towers, because they would die very quickly and they'd be very costly as well. So, one tower down, he's got another 3 to go, but maybe, yeah, I was going to say maybe another Mangarel. In fact, we've got a battering ram instead, and TaToH still here on this left side now, making army, defending his economy. But BacT, with his mass elite skirms, he's got the upper hand. He's got the upper hand. This is awesome, awesome play from BacT. Just showing you that you don't always need gold. You don't always need gold in order to play well. And, well, I guess you do, but you don't need direct access to gold. Obviously, BacT would not be at this stage of the game without the use of the market. But look at this on the right side. The tower, the TC is up. He's finally taken some gold and stone for the first time this game in the center of the map. His ram is here, and TaToH now, he's got to act. He's got to do something, otherwise he will lose the middle. And like I said earlier on, if TaToH loses the middle, it's basically game over for him. Because BacT has already lowered the prices of the resources at the market. BacT has already got the upgrades he needs, so he's kind of already in the position where TaToH now runs out of gold. He's going to be able to counter these units very easily. Light cavalry doing fantastic work. And although TaToH did manage to kill this battering ram, BacT should finish off this tower now with a few light cavalry. Should be no problem at all, just 9 HP remaining. And there it is, down it goes. So one tower left, and TaToH still has no military in the center. I can't believe this. This is a really nice game. Take a look at the populations. TaToH is not too far behind. He's definitely falling behind in villager count, though. At the moment, BacT has about 20 more villagers, and that's kind of a big deal, you know. Those resources are going to be flowing in pretty quickly now for BacT, and more quickly than TaToH is going to have. So, you know, in this situation, not only has BacT now got the eco lead, he's not only got the military lead, but since he's now controlling the center of the map, TaToH is in for a real uphill battle if he doesn't GG it out soon. So TC coming up right in the center, that's the third one, and BacT immediately garrisoning inside to get away from this knight. I don't blame him. He doesn't, he does of course have bodkin arrows, so it shouldn't be too difficult to deal with those knights there, since there's no bloodlines, there's no +2 defense or anything like that. The final tower from TaToH, the final frontier, down it goes. A pile of rubble, and BacT pushing him right the way out. That's it. He says, the center is mine. I am the winner of this one. Well played by BacT. Really nicely done. And now, of course, he's got access to gold again, so who knows what he's going to do with that next. I mean, he could go for some knights, in which case, you know, that would be really strong, since there's mostly just skirms out from TaToH. He could go for some more upgrades. He could go for +2 defense on the skirms. He could go for, well, obviously he is doing bloodlines right now. He could go for ballistics, or, you know, those kind of upgrades that, you know, do cost a little bit of gold. And basically just investing more into resources, into military, just more and more and more. So TaToH at the moment still doesn't want to GG it out, and although there is a 1,000 score difference at this stage, and he's pressed back into the corner of the map, TaToH still thinks maybe he has some kind of way back into this one, and we'll see about that. We'll see about that very soon. We'll have a quick look at the resources sold, and you can see overall at the moment, BacT 600 wood sold, 400 food sold, and for TaToH 200 wood sold and 200 food sold. So he is now starting to sell those resources at the market as well. I don't expect that we will see the Imperial Age for TaToH this game. BacT, of course, not really considering the Imperial Age at the moment too heavily, I don't think. He can probably push forward and do a lot of damage with just siege at the moment, and in fact he is doing a second siege workshop on the front. So once he's kind of cleaned this out, once he's got a little more siege, he'll be able to flatten a lot of these skirms very easily, and he'll be able to take down these buildings on the front as well. And well, TaToH's really got no defenses in place other than a couple more towers, but we've seen already how quickly those towers are going to go down. And yeah, as Gentle says in the chat, pikemen and skirm will lose to light cavalry and skirm, and that was my point earlier on about BacT here having the light cavalry out. You know, he's got the advantage there, and you know, even if TaToH now does go into spears, which, you know, do counter light cavalry, the simple fact that BacT has the skirms out, it's a no-brainer. He's won that. And not to even mention the mangonels at the back. The mangonels are gonna absolutely kill it. Really, they are. So, I mean, TaToH is doing pikemen right now. He is gonna go down that route, and it is roughly the only route he can go down at the moment, which is sad, but true. We got Thumbring coming in for BacT, chain barding armor, so +2 defense. Wait, that's already done, so yeah, +2 defense on the light calves. And BacT with a lot of army on the front here, holding the hill and just waiting to push. And I imagine he's going to push pretty soon. He's nearly got double the army of TaToH at the moment. Scouts, of course, doing what they do best and scouting the left-hand side, being chased away by the pikes, of course. So, you know, not only got upgrades now in favor of BacT, not only is the army in favor of BacT, not only the villagers in favor of BacT, he's also bringing out knights. I mean, BacT is all over this. He's all over this. He's on it like a car bonnet, and this is surely now endgame for TaToH. Light calves raiding in the back, finding villagers, even with the pikes out here. And that's another thing to point out. Another reason why, although pikes do counter light cavalry, they have to actually fight them head to head. The light cavalry with the speed advantage can do a lot of hit and run damage. They can do a lot more to hurt their opponent's eco and still avoid fighting the pikes. TaToH with a couple of light cavalry of his own, but bear in mind that, you know, TaToH here does not have access to bloodlines, and the Mongols have extra HP, so BacT's light cavalry, 98 HP, TaToH's light cavalry just 60. That's a 38 HP advantage for BacT here. And although, you know, the Mongol light cavalry don't get the +4 defense, as we know, they are still only in the castle age, so that doesn't even come into play yet. BacT, though, losing one mangonel. He also took down a mangonel from TaToH, and he's going to take down the second as TaToH calls GG. Well played by BacT there. A fantastic game, and it just goes to show that even without the center control on this map, you can still win with a very, very intelligent use of the market, a very good strategy of, you know, building a lot of economy, making a lot of trash, and trying to just force the fight to your opponent's economy. And an awesome game from BacT. I couldn't have hoped for a better game to start the Empire Collective Cup off. And so far then, that makes the score 1-0 to BacT in what is essentially a best of 4. The bets, of course, still gonna be, well, then the bets aren't gonna be closed or ended until the end of the series. The betting was on the actual series itself and not the individual games. But awesome first game, and we're gonna go back now into the lobby, and we're gonna go for or look for game number 2.